Ask unanimous consent. No. Okay. Mr. President, today the United States Senate will close in observance of the memorial of our late friend and colleague, Senator Dianne Feinstein. It'll be my honor, a sad, tearful, but great honor, to speak tomorrow at my friend Dianne's memorial, and I thank all my colleagues who will be in attendance. I know that it would mean the world to her for her colleagues to join in this last one goodbye. I'll have more to say tomorrow, but over the past few days I've been coming back to the same thought again and again. Dianne Feinstein was a public servant of uncommon integrity. Many of us here try our best to pursue the common good, but Dianne was on another level. When she thought something was right, when she had a cause she believed in, she pursued it until the end, until her cause endured. I got to see it for myself when she championed the assault weapons ban. The NRA launched horrible, vitriolic, arguably chauvinistic attacks. But she remained undeterred. She knew her cause was just, and she persisted. And in the end, her cause won the day. It'll be a long, long time until the Senate sees someone as consequential as Dianne Feinstein again. Now, on a different note, across the way, yesterday, a small band of MAGA extremists plunged Congress into pandemonium. For the first time in American history, a Speaker of the House of Representatives has been removed from his position at the hands of radicals that he empowered from day one. What happened yesterday is a failure entirely of the House Republicans' own doing, a disaster in the making, to the great detriment of Congress and to the detriment of the American people. Speaker Boehner, Speaker Ryan, and now Speaker McCarthy have all learned the same hard lesson. You cannot allow the hard right to run the House or the country, and all three of them were chased out by the MAGA right. You cannot allow a small band of MAGA extremists, which represent just a very small percentage of the views of the country, to tell the overwhelming majority of Americans what to do. But Republican problems with MAGA extremism seep far deeper than any single leader. MAGA extremism is a poison that the House GOP has refused to confront for years. And until the mainstream House Republicans deal with this issue, the chaos will continue. I thought House Republicans would have finally realized the dangers of MAGA extremism after what happened last fall. But year after year, they end up making the same mistake, and it always leads to disaster. By now, I hope it's obvious. MAGA extremism is not good for the House Republican leadership. It is not good for the GOP. It is not good for Congress. And MAGA extremism is disastrous for the country. If MAGA Republicans had their way, they'd take our country back all the way to the 19th century. They turn the clock back radically on women's choice, on voting rights, on workplace protections, on education, on corporate greed, on the environment. They would disfigure our precious democracy, all for a handful of greedy, very wealthy people who just want to not have anything to do with the rest of us. The MAGA agenda is a dark and dangerous vision of America, one most people overwhelmingly reject. Even so, they are the ones running the show right now in the House, GOP. We find ourselves in a dangerous situation. With about 40 days to go before the government shuts down, the House has ground completely to a halt. Until Republicans stop their infighting, the House can vote on no bills, no appropriations work can get done. If, God forbid, some national crisis were to occur that demands immediate action, the House would be unable to quickly respond. So let me say this to the next Speaker of the House, whomever that may be. Think carefully about what happened to your predecessors before trying to coddle the hard right. Each of your predecessors got burnt each time. I urge the next Speaker not to make the same mistake, not just for their own future, but for the country's. Whoever the House elects as Speaker will not be able to ignore the realities of divided government, no matter what the hard right demands. The need for bipartisanship will not change. We will need bipartisanship to keep the government open. We will need it to finish the appropriations process. We will need it to make life better for the American people. For the good of the country, I urge my Republican colleagues in the House to once and for all accept that reality. If not, it is my fear, deep fear, that the chaos from yesterday is just the beginning.
I'd like to begin today with a few words about my House counterpart, Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Shepherding an institution like the House of Representatives, every bit as stubborn and diverse as the nation it represents, is a tall order. Getting a slim majority pointed in the same direction at any one time can seem like nothing short of a miracle. I've said before that in reference to my own position, that being the leader of your party in the Senate is much like being a groundskeeper at a cemetery. Everybody's under you, but no one's listening. Of course, I doubt that Kevin McCarthy has ever seen himself as above anyone else. Not the son of a firefighter, not the grandson of immigrants who stood up his own small business and worked his way through school. From the beginning of the Speaker's House career, it was clear to anyone paying any attention that he was a doer in the model of Teddy Roosevelt's man in the arena, and an idealist, a model of his fellow Californian, Ronald Reagan. Congressman McCarthy didn't shy away from worthwhile fights. In fact, he usually dove in head first. He didn't hesitate to get his hands dirty. When the circumstances were tough, he drew on his faith, his family, and his belief in American exceptionalism. His Bakersfield roots kept him grounded, and his beloved mother kept him appraised of kitchen table concerns with frequent calls about the price of gas. In other words, he had all the qualities of an effective representative and speaker. And I'm not sure anyone could have predicted just how much these qualities would come in handy over the past 9 months. Speaker McCarthy took office with a commitment to America. He insisted on restoring regular order. He made sure that the People's House was once again open to the American people. And he took on the gravest challenge, a looming debt crisis, with single-minded determination. The Speaker and I worked closely throughout his tenure, but I was particularly struck by his persistence. He literally willed the President of the United States to the negotiating table and kept coming back again and again until he had helped secure the nation's full faith and credit. Speaker McCarthy was a partner I could trust to be honest and candid, and without fail, optimistic. I'm grateful for the enthusiasm he brought to our shared work and for the patriotic, conservative convictions he wears on his sleeve. Perhaps the most telling thing about this week's events in the House has been the way the Speaker handled them. with grace and with gratitude. Speaker McCarthy should be proud of what he and his team have accomplished on behalf of the American people over the past 9 months. And he can rest assured that his colleagues, myself included, will continue to draw on his talents and optimism in the days that lie ahead.